Hello and welcome to Das Nostalgia. I'm Anatoly and I invite you to the wonderful world of MS-DOS gaming. Today we're going to take a look at one of my favorite games of all time, and one of the first adventure games I've ever played, Leisure Suit Larry. But before we take a look at the actual game, let's take a brief look at its history.
It begins in 1991 when Sierra Online publishes a text-adventure game called Soft Porn that was famous not for its gameplay, which was rather dull, and not for its subject, which I guess for the time was kind of edgy, but rather for featuring a risque photo of Roberta Williams, Sierra's co-founder, on its cover. Then, in 1987, Sierra approached game designer Lowe to produce a remake of this game. Since the original game was rather straightforward, Al added a lot to the project, and that's how the series were born. As many successful games, Sierra remade the first game using the new VGA graphics and point-and-click interface in 1991, and that's the version I'm taking a look at today. Right from the start, you get a multiple-choice quiz to identify your age. As annoyed as I was by it as a kid, I still really like this part. Some questions can be tough, but most of them are rather humorous. Get 2 questions wrong, and you'll have to restart the game. And now we enter the land of the lounge lizards. I'd say this is one of the shorter Sierra adventure games. There is really not that much of locations, puzzles, items or characters to talk to, but what the game lacks in quantity, it more than makes up for in its humor. This game is responsible for shaping my immature sense of humor into a disaster that it is today.
What a pervert!
I love it. You can spend hours just clicking the eye icon on everything and laughing out loud. As for the naughtiness level, it's really not that bad. Everything is done in this tongue-in-cheek style. It's never obscene. On the contrary, most of the time it's rather silly. I also love the graphical style, which is very similar to Leisure Suit Larry 5. Most of the location designs are quite silly, but it fits perfectly with the style of the game. There is plenty of animation going on in the backgrounds for you to enjoy, and the color palette is also quite unique. And then of course there are the close-ups of the women, which are amazing in their exaggerated beauty, and have very neat facial expression changes. The gameplay here is your standard Sierra fare when you mostly try to just survive long enough. There are plenty of sudden deaths, and if you skip certain actions or forget some items, you might get permanently stuck. But the same can be said of any Sierra adventure game, and that's what we love them for, the challenge. The puzzles themselves in this game are rather easy, although a bit obscure at times. I'd say this game is good for beginners, as my childhood friend and I managed to beat it on our own.
I love it. What else is there to say? It's one of the first adventure games I've played, and it's also one of my favorites. Even though, as an adventure game itself, might not be that great, it has a few shortcomings, but I just think it makes up for it by being that special sort of experience. And the game was very popular during its time. It sold like crazy originally, and when the remake came out as well, and had quite a few sequels that I'm hoping to take a look later. And special thanks to Al Lowe for entertaining me for all these years. I'm forever grateful, in case you're listening. And this is it for this episode of Das Nostalgia. I'm Anatoly. See you next time, and thank you for watching.